It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, episode 2524, and I'm Dr. Neal Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet and nutrition, and lots more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. And if you're in the U.S. and send a relevant question in, we'll visit the post office and personally mail you a physical copy of the Optimal Living Daily Workbook. So I'll tell you how to send in a question at the very end of today's episode. But for now, let's hear today's Q&A as we optimize your life. Today's question came via email. A curious listener writes, "Aloha, Dr. Neal. Thank you so much for this podcast. I love listening to it every day. I had a question about mushroom coffees. I've been seeing lots of ads popping up for them on social media, claiming they have many health benefits such as boosting your immunity, helping with gut health, and with weight loss, as well as giving you energy and more focus. I love coffee and would never give it up, but was curious about the truths to these claims these coffee substitutes are advertising. Thank you again for this wonderful podcast and the knowledge you bring to us." Thank you so much for sending in your question and for listening to the show. I'm so glad you find it helpful. Now, when it comes to mushroom coffee, for now I'd say it's one of those trends that falls under the wait and see category. I'll give you an example. When someone asks me about what I think of, let's say, following the cabbage soup or grapefruit diets, that's an easy one. I wouldn't recommend following either of those. The potential harms of following those diets clearly outweigh any potential benefits. If someone were to ask me what I think about following a Mediterranean type diet, I would say the potential benefits outweigh the risks, so it might be worth trying. But when it comes to mushroom coffee, I'm just not sure. Let me explain. Mushroom coffee is made just like it sounds, mixing ground coffee with mushrooms with equal parts of both. But the mushrooms aren't whole mushrooms. They've been dried and ground up as well. Some say mushroom coffee tastes mostly like regular coffee, but with a nuttier, more earthy flavor. And since some of the coffee has been replaced with dried mushrooms, it's going to contain about half the caffeine of regular coffee. Now, the type of dried mushroom used isn't the same as the one you would find in your salad or your pasta dish. Mushroom coffee wouldn't be made from, let's say, white button mushrooms or portobello mushrooms. Instead, the most common varieties used in mushroom coffee are lion's mane, chaga, cordyceps, and reishi. That's because in some cultures, these mushrooms are considered medicinal and are believed to provide health benefits like decreasing stress, providing a boost to the immune system, improving gut health, and reducing inflammation throughout the body. So does mushroom coffee actually provide these benefits? Well, we simply don't know, and that's because there haven't been enough studies conducted to know for sure. So the only conclusions we can make are based on whether coffee has any health benefits and whether these specific medicinal mushrooms have any health benefits. For example, we know that both coffee beans and mushrooms, when taken separately, contain disease-fighting antioxidants. Mushrooms and coffee, again when studied separately and when consumed as part of a balanced diet, can reduce the risk of developing certain diseases like cancer. We just don't know whether, by combining them, they provide any health benefits. Some say they get better sleep by drinking mushroom coffee. Well, that's very possible since you're now drinking about half the caffeine you normally would. So if we don't know if any benefits are real, are there any potential downsides to drinking mushroom coffee? Again, it's difficult to know without published studies on the subject, but for some, these medicinal mushrooms can interact with some types of medications. So if you want to try a mushroom coffee, let your healthcare provider know. All right, so where does that leave us? My suggestion would be to save your money and enjoy your coffee as you normally would, without a whole lot of added sugar and creamer, of course, and consume commonly available mushrooms like white button, portobellos, and shiitake regularly as part of a balanced diet. That way, you'll still get the benefits of both coffee and mushrooms, but at the same time, you'll save money on purchasing some of these special mushroom coffees. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster, and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Thank you again for taking the time to send in your question, curious listener. Now, if you want to send in a question to be answered right here on the show, plus get your hands on the Optimal Living Daily workbook if you're in the US, you can email a question to health@oldpodcast.com. Or if you want to hear your voice on the podcast, just come by oldpodcast.com/ask. Right on that page, you can record straight from your computer's microphone. It's really easy. You can even play back your message and do retakes before sending it in, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 1-61-I-LOVE-OHD. That's 1-614-568-3643. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. Answering them is my favorite part of the show. All right, that's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening every day and all the way through. I hope you have a wonderful start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.